Alright, today we're talking about the supercars that time forgot. The ones that were faster than a Ferrari, crazier than a Lamborghini, and built by people who genuinely thought that they could take on the giants. They weren't just supercars, they were statements, and for a moment, they actually did it. Then, just like that, gone. No commercials, no fame, just a few wild stories left behind. So today we're remembering the cars that should have been legends but disappeared before anybody really noticed them. Let's start with the first one, the American supercar that looked like it came straight out of a sci-fi movie. It's the late 1980s. The economy is booming, people are blasting synth music, and Lamborghini posters cover every teenager's wall. But one company called Vector Motors decided they weren't just gonna make another supercar, they were going to build the future. And they came out with this insane machine called the Vector W8. A car that looked like somebody tried to draw a Lamborghini Countach using just straight lines. It was all sharp edges, fighter jet glass, and switches everywhere like a cockpit. You didn't sit in the W8, you piloted it. Under the hood, it had a 6.0 liter twin turbo V8 making around 625 horsepower, which in 1989 was completely unhinged. Vector claimed it could hit 240 miles an hour, and yeah, that was probably optimistic, but even if it didn't quite reach that, it was still brutally fast. 0 to 60 in about 4 seconds, and remember, this is when Ferraris were barely breaking 5. It was futuristic, it was American, and it worked. But here's the problem, Vector was basically one guy with a dream and a very expensive prototype. The W8 cost nearly $500,000, which back then was unheard of, and the company only built about 17 cars before the money dried up. They got caught in lawsuits, investors pulled out, and that was it, the dream was gone. But the Vector W8 still deserves respect. It was America's first real we beat Ferrari supercar. It just came a little too early and with a little too much crazy. Next up, we got the Saleen S7, a car that actually did what Vector was trying to do. It proved that America could build a world-class supercar and not just talk about it. Saleen was mostly known for tuning Mustangs, but in the year 2000 they said, alright, we're done building muscle cars, let's build something that destroys Lamborghinis, and they did it. The Saleen S7 came out with a 7.0 liter V8 making 550 horsepower, completely naturally aspirated. Then a few years later they added twin turbos and jumped to 750 horsepower. The top speed was around 248 miles an hour. It wasn't just fast, it was terrifying. Mid-engine rear-wheel drive and enough torque to twist the frame. And the crazy part, the S7 wasn't just some sketchy prototype, it actually won races. It took home trophies at the Le Mans and in the American Le Mans series. This thing wasn't just a showpiece, it was a legit supercar that could go head-to-head with Ferrari, Porsche, and even McLaren. So why did nobody talk about it? Well, it came out right before YouTube, before Instagram, before social media car hype was even a thing. If the S7 launched today, there'd be TikToks, meme, drag races, it'll go viral overnight, and I would be posting about it every day. But back then, it got a few magazine covers and then quietly faded into car history. Only about 100 Saleen S7s were ever built, and they rarely show up anywhere. It was America's real supercar success story, and we didn't even realize it at the time. If you've never heard of this one, don't feel bad because most people haven't. It's called the Mosler MT900, and it might be one of the most underrated cars ever made. It came from a guy named Warren Mosler, a millionaire who basically said, finance is boring, I'm gonna go build race cars, and honestly, good for him. The MT900 wasn't built for luxury or flexing, it was built for performance. It used a 6.0 liter Corvette LS engine, so parts were simple and reliable. It made around 435 horsepower, which doesn't sound insane until you realize the whole car only weighed about 2,500 pounds, and that's lighter than most hatchbacks today. Car and Driver tested one, and it hit 0 to 60 in 3.5 seconds with only 435 horsepower. That's how good the engineering was. The race versions, the MT900R, were even faster. They dominated endurance races, beating Ferraris and Porsches in their own classes. But the brand wasn't flashy. No celebrity owners, no exotic Italian name, just quiet performance. And in the supercar world, if people don't talk about you, you disappear. So Mosler faded away. But the MT900 still stands as one of the few supercars that actually lived up to the hype. It just never got the spotlight. Alright, this last one might surprise you, but this car was actually the fastest car in the world for a while. It's called the SSC Ultimate Aero. And in 2007, this little American company, SSC or Shelby Supercars, came out of nowhere and said, hey Bugatti, move over, we are taking that record. And they did. In 2007, the Ultimate Aero hit 256.14 miles per hour, officially becoming the fastest production car on earth. It had a twin turbo V8 making 1,183 horsepower, rear-wheel drive, and no traction control at all. Driving it at full speed probably felt like trying to control a tornado with a steering wheel, but for a few glorious years it held the crown. A car built in Washington State, not Germany, not Italy, not France, beat Bugatti's multi-million-dollar hypercar. Then Bugatti came back with the Veyron Supersport, reclaimed the record, and SSC slowly faded into the shadows. They did come back later with the Tuatara, but that's a whole other story. The Ultimate Aero may not be remembered like the Bugatti Veyron, but it deserves massive respect because for a few years it proved David really could beat Goliath. So what do these 4 cars have in common? They were all born from the same insane ambition. Not giant corporations with unlimited budgets, but passionate people who wanted to prove something. The Vector W8 was a futuristic dream. The Saleen S7 was an American powerhouse that actually worked. The Mosler MT900 was an engineer's dream come true, and the SSC Ultimate Aero literally outran a Bugatti. They had the speed, the style, and the story, but sometimes in the car world that's not enough. Timing matters, marketing matters, and luck definitely matters. These cars deserve to be icons. Instead, they became legends that most people forgot, but not us. We'll always remember. Thank you so much for watching. Please hit that subscribe button. I'll see you next week with a brand new video next Sunday, 2 p.m. Write it down on your calendar, and I'll see you every single day this week, just like always, with a short peace.